So Shane, just before we begin, basically the whole thought of this is there are other people like me that are basically podiatrists or doctors. We're all busy. We all want to see more patients, have them come in quicker, have better search results, all this stuff, everything that you do. So the thought is if you could just give some great tips, and then at the end we'll kind of share some information about you. Okay.
Sure, absolutely.
And I may have to ask you to speak up a little bit. I can't hear you a ton, but
Okay, I'll try to. Usually it's pretty
it's
good.
better right there. Okay. I'll start with the intro. Hello and welcome to Podiatry Practice Mastery. My name is Don Pelto, and I have Shane Eastman with me today. Shane, welcome. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. And Shane, so we were talking recently, and you kind of got out of your old job, which was more manual labor, and you
Hmm.
entered into this whole area of web and internet, and it really brings you a lot of joy and passion to it. So tell me a little bit about the kind of your transformation.
Well, so yeah, I was a by trade. I'm general contractor. I have a bachelor's degree in construction management, and um, so doing home building, doing remodels, and so forth. But I really just don't see myself, even though that's my education, doing that for my whole life. I did not want to be these people that are, just crippled and so forth at 60 years, 70 years old. And, there's just a better way of making a living. Although it's very rewarding to be doing the building and all the projects because you can see the finished product. But I was introduced to the digital world uh, about a year ago, and it really opened my eyes on how I could really service a lot of business owners out there that are struggling in finding the leads, the right leads, and really quality leads. You just don't want someone ringing your phone and not, wasting your time, but really finding the right either customer, patient, or whatever that fits you the best. And figured out that the targeting is so powerful that you can get such results if you know what tools to use.
Yeah. Well, everyone is everyone is curious. So give us go ahead and give us some kind of tips. I'm sure some we can try to do alone on our own, others that we
Yep.
have to hire a professional to do. So kind of dive us in and tell us what's worked for you.
Well, definitely, there are a lot of things you can do, an individual can do themselves to save them some money. But really, the first step would be to make sure that your Google My Business listing is updated within your Google profile. Make sure all that information is accurate. You want to make sure that all your platforms, your website, your Facebook, and anywhere you have any form of a digital footprint, if you will, you want to make sure that you have the same exact spelling of your business, exactly the same way, down to the period. It's called an NAP, the name, address, and phone number listing. So, however you have your phone number, if you use parentheses around the area code and then the 3 digits and then a hyphen or whatever, you want to make sure all your numbers are exactly the same everywhere you list it because that affects your score because it's all about credibility. You want to have the same footprint everywhere you look. Um, so update your Google My Business listing. Make sure the address. Make sure the you are here logo for your address is actually matching up. Quite often, I have a lot of clients that they have their address listing, but then when you look them up on Google Maps, it shows them down the street. And of course, people are frustrated because they can't find you in the right location. So you can adjust that. It's pretty intuitive on how to do that. Um, and then you just want to make sure, all that is updated fully. And that's a good first step. And that's something that a lot of people can do. Then beyond that's when you really get into probably the realm where people aren't real interested in doing themselves, like creating backlinks from their existing website or just links, external links that come to their websites and so forth, and all the meta tags on uh, your profiles and so forth. Um, that's where most people will say, I'm not really interested in doing that. I want to be able to run my business and enjoy what I do best. And that's where I typically come in,
Okay.
and my team comes in. But so then after your Google listing up and running, you want to make sure that your websites have a lot of content. You want to have a couple different pages that have 1,000 words or more on each page for content, because that's where, you don't want to have a thin site, as they say. It comes down to, again, credibility, good quality content where it's beneficial for the end user. For platforms like Facebook and Google and all that, it's all about the user experience. If the user experience is substandard, you're not going to be promoted as well. And that's what's important to those platforms. It's all about not so much you as even the advertiser, but more just the user themselves.
So Shane, just if people are getting into more web, or not web, video,
Mhm.
how important is it for you to, for example, transcribe your video? And then how much editing do you have to do of that transcription before you upload it? Or should you even do that? Or does it have to be less than that? Because like, let's say we take this 30-minute interview today. I
Mhm.
could transcribe that, put that up. Is that beneficial? Is that needed, essential, or is it optional?
The reality of it is, depending on the type of content that you're producing, if you are doing something, you want things to be as authentic as possible. So as minimal splices as you can have, the better. But then when it comes to having a quality feedback as far as um, for metadata and all that kind of stuff, videos, if you're using like a YouTube platform, you want to have a minimum of 10 minutes. But then there's no maximum. The longer, is as long as you have that engagement time really helps you out. So YouTube is part of Google and so forth. So that'll help your SEO scores. So if you have something that's 30 minutes long and your viewership maintains at 30% or higher for that entire video, that's going to be a really strong video that's going to get recommended from Google and YouTube, especially.
Yeah, I've been playing around with the YouTube, and that's the whole challenge, is getting people to watch more of it, and how to make it interesting so they can do that. Those are great. Those are great.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me if you can tell me more tips, or tell me kind of how these have transformed some of your businesses, if you'd like, that you've worked with.
Well, first, some more tips for someone who's starting off a YouTube channel. You want to ask how to questions, like how to best take care of foot fungus or whatever, things. And when you type in that how to, if you want to really season your YouTube channel, those are the videos that essentially get you the most traffic. And because that's what people are typing in. I want to learn it's like, how do I do X? And those videos are where you really get your massive growth and learning, for people to come to benefit from uh, what you have to offer.
Yeah.
And
Now, how about, like, for example, how I treated plantar fasciitis, or I forgot what we were talking about. How I've treated that in the past has changed today. Is it okay to have multiple videos that are said, like, how to treat plantar fasciitis? And then, like, can you have multiple of the same title? Because things are changing. Do you have to delete the old one? Can you keep multiple versions as the years go by? I was thinking about doing 2021, but then like 10 years from now, it's not going to be relevant.
right, medicine is always changing. Like it changes by the day with research going on and so forth. And that is a great question. So what you would do is when you're setting up your YouTube channel and you're uploading your videos, you do the record date. And so, you might have a disclaimer, like in your default setting. A disclaimer is like, this information is current as of today. And you may want to look for future videos for maybe any
Okay.
updates that may, whatever, as a disclaimer at the bottom of each one. And then of course, leave it there, because once it's there, it's going to still get you in contact with those potential patients, and for you
Mhm.
to grow with.
Cool. And do you have any tips for getting people, let's say, off of YouTube onto your actual site? Like, because not many my patients don't look at YouTube that much unless I send them there. How do you get them off YouTube or off of Facebook onto your site?
Okay, so definitely you want to have in the top of your description, if you'd like to contact me, some form in that description, the link to your site,
Good.
and or a calendar link or some way of them to get a hold of you in some fashion. You can have that link in your description for them to use, because you're putting this digital real estate out there. that unfortunately is useless unless somebody know how to get a hold of you. So that's the primary thing you want to have in your description, right below what the actual video is about.
Yeah, good, good. What else? Give one. This is great content here.
Yeah. I mean, this world is so big, and every day I learn something new and miraculous. And um, really, just by following those, people can really make some really great advancements in what they're trying to build. Um, as far as, Facebook ads are phenomenal. If you're using Facebook at all, if the targeting is so precise, and so that way your ads are being seen specifically by who your patient demographic is.
So
And
comparing Google ads to Facebook ads, how do you compare and contrast them, or which one is better for us as podiatrists, I guess?
I would almost say, ooh, you're putting me on that spot, but
All right, they're probably both good, but I tend to find when I look for stuff, like if I want to do a lead gen magnet on plantar fasciitis, there's a lot of competition already on Google AdWords, and so for me to pay for that gets more expensive, I think, than Facebook.
absolutely.
In
I
terms of
think
cost.
Facebook is probably going to be a more precise, um, like scalpel precision, um, for targeting, and that's really what you need.
Yeah. And in terms of content, I know there's different philosophies behind in terms of like, it sounds like everything we really want to do is just be genuine, be ourselves, and really provide helpful information that people can use. Is there a best method? Like, is video better? Let's talk about your website, driving people to your website. Yeah, videos better? Are like really rich content? Are like, for example, is it great to have one page on plantar fasciitis, or can I have 50 pages on plantar fasciitis? Like, is one better than the other, or is it really go deep on each diagnosis, or how does that? I feel I get worried about overwhelming people.
No, I would say, I would have a couple videos, a few different videos as you update them,
Mm-hmm.
but I would broaden that out to podiatry, and then how to on each one of those subject matters on your page. And yes, being genuine is absolutely the first and foremost, because that they're basically, um, people are going to buy from people they know and trust.
Yeah.
And by seeing your content, they know and trust you, so they're more likely to seek you out
Yeah.
that way.
That's what I find more and more. I think all of us, when we start, we kind of want to be like other people. I don't know why we do that. But then like the more you get into it, like some of these guys on YouTube or other places, they're kind of gruff in there, but they're themselves. And I think that's what
Right.
ultimately it takes you a while to do that. I know I do this as a podcast version. In the beginning, I'm like, I wanted to be all straight laced and just talk about business. But really what people like is they like to know, who Shane is or who Don is. That's what they like these days.
And that's that. More truth than that than Don. It's um, just knowing you, and just like, wow, this guy is, you know, I appreciate the way he delivers himself and holds himself, uh, and knowing firsthand, that you really care about your patients,
Yeah.
and so forth. That's what's going to get them, not necessarily what someone else looks like. Because if they want to go to someone else, they're going to go to someone else.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, good, good. And how does someone, let's say someone wants to, let's say they try to do some of it themselves, and they're looking for help. What are different ways? Like, I thought of different ways, like using Fiverr or Upwork, or getting someone, or because everything these days, it's a good and the bad thing. It's the continuity. Like, they want to get you 500 a month for the rest of your life, type of a thing, or you know what I'm saying? That's how a lot of these things are. So what is your, I don't know, what's your lay down on that? Your thoughts?
So if you can find some good resources on Fiverr, it's a great resource, to, depending on what it is you're looking for. If it's something you want to hire someone out of high school to do, that has a really good skill set, because that's what it comes down to, is their skill set. And um, Fiverr is a great place to go to, because it's a one and done, whatever. Um, depending on what kind of reach you're looking for and level of professionalism and your branding, someone that truly understands your branding, you want to, then that's when you get into hiring the right agency that can
Yeah,
help you.
yeah. Oh, good, good. Well, I think we've covered a lot of good topics here, Shane. I think we've covered about like how, you know, how to put things out there, how to add things to your site, things like that. Any other like parting, any things that like, let's say you go back 3 years ago when you were still doing, being a general contractor,
Sure.
trying to get more business and things like that. If you could go back and tell yourself now what you know now, tell yourself back then, what would you have told yourself in terms of just if you were just working the business?
Right.
What would
Absolutely.
you have done?
I would
What would you have done different to get more business and more clients and things like that? What would you? How would you go? What would be the road plan you would give yourself?
make sure I have a professional address, meaning that it's actually a real address with that I can take a picture of and
Hmm.
can actually go to. Then I would have update my Google listing to its maximum fullest and maximize all the intent on that, because more people are doing searches on their cell phone. And if you're in the 3-pack on the Google listing, you know, it makes it so easy, especially on the phone. It's like, oh, this person's only 5 miles down the road from me, and I can call them just by hitting this one button. And I mean, that alone is worth a lot. And I would have done that differently just to make sure that was fully updated and ensured that I was in the 3-pack. And that takes a little bit of work. That's where skill comes in, is making sure you're competing and playing king of the hill when it
Yeah.
comes to 3-pack. Then let's see. I would make sure my website was fully updated with, you know, 10 plus photos
Yeah.
throughout with actual images of either me or my work
Yeah.
on that as far as content. Um, and then, of course, a lot of it, what I've already explained as far as the YouTube channel and
Yeah.
also um, the website, and then name, address, and phone number listings.
Cool. Cool. Well, Shane, if they want to learn more about you, what would be the best way? Do you have a website they could go to learn more?
Yes, right now I'm in transition on that website, but you can still get there to get a hold of me. Don't really look at the content because I am transitioning because of the algorithms are always changing.
Yeah.
And it just changed once again a week ago.
Wow.
But you can go to executivewebhq.com. That is my website. And of course, if they want to call me directly, my office number is 978-833-9585. And you can reach me also on my email, shane@executivewebhq.com.
Great. Well, thank you so much. I think you provide a lot of great resources, Shane.
Well, hopefully this helps someone out there to at least get started and, you know, give them some tools to get a lot of things that they can do themselves and
Yeah.
not have to pay for it.
Perfect.